All right, we're going to get into running backs, and the first guy we're going to talk about is actually somebody that we're getting a decent amount of questions about, probably because he's playing here in a few minutes. People want to know what to do. Kind of some similar Alex Collins vibes from a week or two ago. A guy you're higher on, D'Ernest. I don't know if it's D'Ernest or D'Ernest Johnson. I'm not quite sure the pronunciation, but you know who I'm talking about. He's going against Denver. He's the RB14, 8 spots higher than the experts. You also like J.D. McKissic, who I referenced earlier in the injury report. He's at the Packers. You got him as your RB21, 4 spots above the experts. Great examples of some guys that are higher than you would expect, whether it was by you or the expert consensus, because of all these guys that are out.
Exactly. Let's start with D'Ernest Johnson. I think that's how you pronounce it. Mr. Ernest, right. We'll call him the earnest man himself. Why to like him? Why am I +8 on the ECR? Well, one, the Browns ground pie. First in attempts, 194. First in rush yards on the year. They already have 1,011 rush yards on the year. They're first in yards per carry, 5.2. And they're first in team TDs on the ground, 12. Derrick Henry's pretty damn close with 10 himself, but he's the only one that scored touchdowns on the ground. So the Browns are first in every single meaningful rushing category. Yes, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, of course, help buoy those. They're two incredible, the best backfield duo you could ask for in the NFL. Still, I think a huge part of that is the line. The zone blocking scheme is one of the best. And the fact that they just call so much run game volume throughout the game. They're averaging 32 attempts, 168 yards, and 2 TDs on the ground every game. I'm not saying that all that's going to go to D'Ernest or that they're even going to come close to those averages when they're missing Jack Conklin, when they have Case Keenum at quarterback. There are definitely concerns in that sense. Never mind the fact it's a tough Broncos defense. But I think D'Ernest Johnson's not that bad. Whenever he's gotten the rushing attempts, 33 carries in his career, he had 166 yards on those, over 5 yards a pop. He's caught 10 of his 12 targets for 92 yards, 9.2 yards a pop. Everybody thinks, oh, well, he's the clear-cut only rushing down guy, right? He is the USF, University of South Florida's all-time leader in all-purpose yards, running back receptions, running back receiving yards. The guy can catch the ball, folks. And so, yes, this is definitely a one-week plug-in, but everyone assumes that Felton, who I actually am at Hail Mary, we're going to talk about himself in a little bit. I like Felton, too. But everyone's like, oh, it's automatically Felton, the receiving back, right? He's going to automatically be the Kareem Hunt. Well, Johnson can catch the ball. There's a world where he's the lead back this week and then plays the Hunt role in future weeks. So I love rostering him, and I certainly am going to roll him out this week. And bye week, hell, never mind that. The guy's nickname, the Junkyard Dog, for his penchant of racking up tough, ugly yardage. You can have the Junkyard Dog. Come on. You're playing the Junkyard Dog. Let's go.
JYD. All right.
JYD, baby.
Let's talk lower. Eli Mitchell. I think it's just you just kind of don't believe the Eli Mitchell hype. Going against the Colts, RB22, 8 spots below the experts.
Matt, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up, but I did want to touch because we do make this a podcast, and this wouldn't matter. This D'Ernest Johnson rant doesn't matter. So I'll either look like an idiot or I'll look great on the podcast tomorrow. We'll find out. You mentioned J.D. McKissic, and I do want to talk about him for everybody playing on Sunday, listening to the podcast right now. It's been very boom or bust. He's either had 1 point or he's had 15 or more. But the good news about that boom or bust nature is the booms have come in games where it's clear they're going to be behind and they're clear they're going to need to throw to the running back. Well, guess what? They're facing Green Bay. Green Bay is going to destroy this team, giving up the most points to everything right now. Most points to total teams, most points to quarterbacks, receivers. They're going to destroy them. And they're going to be in comeback mode. And regardless of Antonio Gibson's injury, should he be out, skyrocketed even further. But even if he plays, this is a McKissic game in all intents and purposes. He had 16 touches last week, 8 carries, 8 catches. I think this is another 12 to 20, whatever that range ends up being, depends on Gibson's injury. But either way, you get 12 plus touches for McKissic. That's happened on all these bad scripts for that, the defense rather. He eats every single time. I think you can pencil him right in for 14 to 15 points at least, given this matchup, because they're not a good pass defense. They're not a good run defense, and they're going to be putting up points, Green Bay is, against this team. So McKissic, a great stream this week if you have him.
All right, we're going to get to lower. We definitely need to make sure we get through these because we do have a lot of D'Ernest
70
Johnson
questions. I see it.
Well, a lot of them are about him. So I want to make sure anybody that's watching tonight gets those answered in plenty of time. All right, guy you're lower on, Eli Mitchell going against the Colts, RB22, 8 spots below the experts. Also, Chase Edmonds, you don't like, similar amount. You got him as RB23, 8 spots below the experts also. I can't believe the experts had those guys 14 and 15 respectively, by the way.
It makes no sense to me. Eli Mitchell, he had that one great week against Detroit. Well, guess what? Detroit gives up the most points to running backs. Other than that one 16-point affair, he's had 6 and 7 points. Even against Arizona, where he saw 80% of the workload and snaps, he only had 7 points. Now he gets Indy, who's given up the third fewest points to running back, one of the best linebacking crews in the entire NFL. No thanks. I get so many questions about playing Eli Mitchell. Not for me this week, folks. Tough matchup. Hasn't gotten it done other than the easiest possible matchup. I'm all the way out on him. And then in terms of the other running back that I'm lower on was Chase Edmonds. The guy hasn't done anything in 2 straight weeks because James Conner's kind of taken over this backfield, certainly when the positive game script's there. And what do you expect against Houston? You think they're going to need to throw to their running backs against Houston? No, they're going to be bleeding clock all day. We've seen 3 and 7 points from Chase Edmonds in half PPR leagues the last 2 weeks. The running back 56 and 37. This is the James Conner week. And I'm facing him, so I cut him, and I'm facing him. There is no way that James Conner puts anything less up than 2 touchdowns, and Chase Edmonds does absolutely nothing just because of that old bad blood. But he hasn't been anything special these last 2 weeks. 6 and 4 carries, and a week when he might see 4 to 8 more this week, but he won't see any catches because they're not going to need to throw to running backs against Houston. No need.
Hail Mary. Demetric Felton going against Denver tonight. RB 29, 13 above the experts, 21% rostered. Also, you like Ramondre Stevenson. I'm still waiting on this one to blow up. Going against the Jets, not a bad time to do it. He's only 19% rostered.
Exactly. Felton, we'll start with him. Again, I obviously prefer Dearness Johnson. He's the lead back. I think he sees the most touches. Felton's pretty damn electric, though. He had like a 60-yard receiving touchdown in just week 2. He played a lot of slot snaps. He's kind of that convert wide receiver running back who led the entire Pac-12 in all-purpose yardage just a couple seasons ago under Chip Kelly. Very versatile, 165 a game, 2,258 all-purpose yards that year. Speed, not that great, 4.59 for his lackluster size, but a great receiver. One of those dynamite type of guys that's a big play waiting to happen on a team that kind of needs it, certainly out of the backfield. Wouldn't be surprised to see him rack up 6 catches or so tonight. So PPR viable, in my opinion. And then Ramondre Stevenson. Last week saw 14% target share. This is like a big James White style role. That's the highest Patriots running back target share other than James White 3 weeks ago when he was actually healthy. So if he's now taking over that Bolden role, you're looking at 4 to 6 catches. And then a great bet as this big body. There comes the beer. This great bet as a big body to plow into the end zone. He scored last week, gets the Jets. Detroit's giving up the most points to running backs. The Jets are not far behind at number 2. So, yeah, I think Harris has a big day. I think Ramondre, though, especially if there's some mop-up duty to have and certainly some receiving work throughout the game, a very viable stream this week into bye week hell.
All right, real quick, some must-watches. Antonio Gibson's health. We already talked about that. Cordero Patterson, backfield takeover. I kind of feel like it's already happened. And the Ravens distribution, if Latavius Murray is out. That one does interest me.
Yeah, Patterson, the backfield takeover seems like it's happened because he's so much better than Mike Davis. I mean, he's the running back, 4 in fantasy right now?
Yeah, it's
insane.
But I got him for 18 waiver dollars.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable. I cut him for Christian Kirk in week 1, and I still want to just throw myself out the window.
Oh, God. That's awful.
I know. I thought I was so savvy and smart picking him up and then drop. I have him in 4 or 5 leagues. It's more my main league that I just dropped him in like an idiot. That's how it always goes, doesn't it? But Cordero, it seems like it is his backfield because of how damn highlight reel plays every single week he is. But last week was the first time, or 2 weeks ago, rather, the first time he actually out-carried Davis, 14 to 13. Does that continue this week to even further? Does he see 20 carries? I just want to see this role continue to climb because why the hell not? He is one of the best playmakers in the NFL, and he's been killing it.
Remember, we said his floor is like 15 points PPR. Bro.
It's unbelievable. Lock him in every meaningful way. Ravens distribution, if Murray's out, though, is just does Tyson Williams more? It's really more about him. Can he take this backfield back over? Because he looked so damn good those first 2 weeks, had double-digit fantasy points, was like, oh, my God, Tyson Williams, the best pick of the year. And then he disappeared for 3 straight weeks. Could Murray be out and let Tyson Williams open the door for this guy to reclaim the backfield? I'll stash him and find out, no doubt about it. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.